Yeah, Tony, just staying warm here in Vegas and watching a lot of college hoop, getting ready for the holidays. And just appreciate you and Mindy and all. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for one more show, but just give you guys a salutation tonight. Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, here we go tonight on the bowl game on ESPN. Baylor here facing Air Force. Baylor laying 3.5, total 43.
And that's why I kind of said that. Brr, it's cold. It's cold in Fort Worth tonight, where they're going to play the Armed Forces Bowl with Air Force and Baylor. Did I hear Air Force Armed Forces Bowl? You start thinking one thing, Tony. You start thinking under. Throw in some bad weather, and boy, you might be looking at a low one here tonight. Look, the total's already dropped. It opened as high as 49, 49 and a half, even at some places, but 47 generally by the time the books felt confident enough to kind of open up the purse strings a little bit on the limits, and it still dropped down to 43, 42 and a half, even at some locations right now. How about temperatures in the low 20s, maybe even below 20 degrees with 20-mile-an-hour winds and 35-mile-an-hour gusts? Now, that's not going to affect Air Force, Ramon. Come on. You know what they're going to do. They're going to run the ball with Roberts, record-setting running back for Air Force. That's really saying something. Now, granted, a lot of times Air Force has gone with an attack that features different backs, but Roberts has been a workhorse. You rarely see this from the Falcons. How about 1,600 yards this season and 15 touchdowns? He's going to run the ball a lot, Tony. They're going to glue the ball to his hands. He doesn't really even turn it over very often and things like that. So Air Force running the ball over 300 yards per game. They're going up against Baylor. I mean, it's not going to be as simple as that for Air Force to chew the clock and get it done in that way. And, they're going to be competitive in this game. They've taken money. Baylor opened about a touchdown favorite, and it's now down to close to a field goal. So the money's been coming in on Air Force, and why not? I mean, Baylor did lose 3 straight to close the season. Now, granted, they're coming from a better conference, no doubt about it. They lost to Texas, TCU, K-State. They have a different attitude really at Baylor, though, these days. They had a great season last year, but this year's been a pretty big disappointment with their 500 record. But here's the thing. They're going to have a pretty strong game plan tonight against Air Force. We know what they're going to do. There's no secret, right? But when you have a head coach like Dave Aranda and his staff, think about where he's been in his career, Tony, with LSU and Wisconsin. But how about before that? He was defensive coordinator for also Utah State and Hawaii. Those are opponents. It's an opponents of Air Force. He knows what's going to happen here in this one. So they'll have a sharp plan tonight for Air Force. Look, this is going to be the best team Air Force has faced all year. They were favored in every game, Tony. Yeah, they went, 8-3, but imagine that. They were favored in every game this season. They have a top-rated defense. In fact, the top-rated defense in the nation, but their schedule was really weak. Really, really weak. But they're still Air Force. I mean, we saw what's happened in a lot of their games. The last 5 games combined, were under 30 points total. Remember some of those, they played their Armed Forces Bowl game, against Army. It was 13-7. Of course it was. We've been talking about that for the last several weeks with these Armed Forces teams. And they played a game last out against San Diego State, 13-3. So you figure it's going to be a low-scoring game, I would think, in this one. For Baylor, yes, they have turned to a more passing game, and I think that's where that'll affect them tonight. Shapen's prop total is only about 150 yards tonight, so they'll have to do it probably on the ground with Richard Reese and Craig Williams. Those guys are kind of interchangeable. I think Reese has kind of moved up to number 1 on the depth chart, but they're going to have to rely more on the running game, I would think, if these wins are what they're cracked up to be. I know we get carried away sometimes with weather, but wind is what you worry about sometimes, not so much precipitation. And with 20 miles an hour gusts or 20-mile-an-hour winds and 35-mile-an-hour gusts, it might be Baylor resorting to a similar game plan. Not a triple option, of course, but running it on the ground with those two running backs, probably a third running back as well as, like I said, Chapin's yardage is well below his season average. I think it's about 215 yards a game, and his props, I believe they're coming in at about 150 or so tonight. Air Force only allows 56 yards a game rushing over the last 9 games and 153 yards passing. But again, they played a very, very weak schedule. If Baylor can throw, they've got Baldwin. He's been okay, but Air Force, maybe you say because of their stiffer competition here in Baylor that the defense won't transcend a little bit. But remember, Air Force is pretty terrific when it comes to bowl games. They've done a very nice job getting numbers, being competitive, winning some bowl games in the past as well. And for Baylor, Tony, no doubt, you talk about last year's great season in the Big 12 this year, big disappointment. You're playing the Armed Forces Bowl. It's cold. You're not going to a warm weather destination necessarily. You're kind of playing close to home a little bit. I would think the motivation's always there. You don't have to get the Air Force guys motivated for any game, but a team like Baylor might be a little bit harder for them to get motivated here to carry out the victory in this one, especially, like I said, touchdown favorite now down to a field goal favorite. So don't put it past Aranda. Like I said, I mean, his resume speaks for itself. That's why he's in this position with Baylor, defensive coordinator, LSU, Wisconsin. But again, the big key is those 2 Mountain West stops, Utah State and Hawaii. And of course, Air Force, we know they compete in that conference. So he's seen this attack before. So they'll run the ball. Like I said, Air Force, Brad Roberts, man, I take the over props on him for sure. He's going to have a massive, massive night carrying the ball, I would think, for Air Force. Should be a good one tonight at the Armed Forces Bowl.
All right, Ramon here going Air Force Baylor under 43. Pretty much covered all there. Of course, the Air Force, the top-rated defense in all of college football, facing a Baylor team. As you said, it's those 6-6 bowl teams from major conferences. Always a tricky situation. Wasn't Florida 6-6? We saw them kind of lay an egg against Oregon State. Sometimes it's those teams, those major conferences, those big schools coming in as a 6-6 team. It's really tough for them. It's really tough to back them in these spots.
You want to be playing on January 1st or later when you're a school such as this, especially given Baylor's success last season. That's the goal for all these teams. So that's the thing, trying to get your team motivated for a game like this. And for Air Force, no question. I think service academies, the records speak for themselves, right? As far as getting numbers with a lot of these teams, ultra competitive every time. You may take Air Force tonight, and you wouldn't be wrong if they don't cover, but it's not like you're going to be sitting there, not getting a full effort from a team or anything like that. There's just no transfer portals out there in Colorado Springs, right? I did see it was interesting, though, Tony, to note that they actually are going to, I believe, be passing something in Congress to allow players to possibly go pro. Remember, that dates back all the way to the days of David Robinson, trying to make sure they could postpone the service and take advantage of their abilities. You don't see many service academy guys anyways going to the pros. I mean, you think of the greats like Roger Staubach and all that, but they deserve to make a living. They can always fulfill their time. They'll still be plenty young enough to serve their country as they are kind of doing already. So always hats off to our Academy member, to our service members watching as well. Happy holidays. And we appreciate everything that you do. So, yeah, no doubt about it, Tony. Love to see you tonight with Brad Roberts. So, like I said, with Air Force, you get that triple option attack, and they're going this way, that way, up the middle, boom, boom. But, man, Roberts, to set a record at Air Force is really saying something. And his prop total tonight set at 120 yards or so. And, boy, Baylor will have to really do a number. They're going to come at him. They know who's getting the ball. It's just going to be a matter of, what is it, the immovable object against the unstoppable force in this game, the unstoppable Air Force.
There you go. We got Ramon here on Air Force Baylor under 43. This one to have a start time here of 7:30 Eastern Time, ESPN. All right, Ramon, let's take a look over at Tony'sPicks.com right now here for today's action. Of course, Ramon putting up some good numbers on the ice tonight, 2,965 units of profit. We got some hockey, actually hockey in progress right now, 1-1 with Philadelphia and Toronto. 2 minutes left in that second period. A lot of college hoops up there. NBA comes in with a card, with 2-game card. What do you have going over at Tony's Picks and NFL?
We're in the NHL tonight, Tony, for sure. On that NHL card, I've got a 3-pack of winners up right now at Tony'sPicks.com. Pick that up for $30. Over at Tony's Picks, 3 games where I'm showing my best profit this season of close to 3,000 units here based on 100 units a game over at Tony's Picks. You might go a little more if you're buying picks at cost like this, and imagine how much profit my followers and my tailors have come through with this season, considering that record this year over at Tony'sPicks.com. In college basketball, I have a 3-pack of winners up right now, also for $30. Over at Tony'sPicks.com, 3 select games on the college card. Starting to get into it a little bit more. I'm into it big time, just having to pull back a little bit on some of the selections, but ready to start firing now, especially once we get out of the final season right now and get into the serious conference play. I've got to be ready and got to get this thing going, and that's what I plan on doing right now, as I'm seeing some good numbers starting to come in that I'm liking. So you're going to see more action from me in college basketball, especially when the students return back from a little bit of break and get rolling here in college basketball. So also, Tony, we're in action tonight with Team Steam, if I can mention, over at Tony'sPicks.com. You can also pick up the winners from Mindy and I in this bowl game tonight. In the NFL, we have plays up as Team Steam. You can go back and watch the videos here on Tony's Picks YouTube channel and get those winners for free. But if you don't have time or you want to help us out a little bit as well, you can go over to Tony's Picks, use the promo code TonyT at checkout, and pick up winners from Mindy and I on the 2 football games tonight. Not sure I'll personally be in action with my premiums tonight, considering the games tonight with Jacksonville and the Jets. And this game, of course, where Mindy and I have a pick on the side in Air Force and Baylor. So, I don't know, I kind of was talking about the game a little bit. Maybe you can figure out what I'm doing. But if you want to go back and watch the videos, you can get exactly what Mindy and I are doing in tonight's Air Force Baylor game. Or go to Tony'sPicks.com and just subscribe to the Team Steam Picks as well, where you get all of our picks from the morning show. You can't make it every day. Maybe you enjoy us. Hopefully enjoy our show when you're checking it out. We're really happy with the returns there as far as how many people are watching, but you can buy our picks there. No secret, they're free, but we do package them up for those people that kind of miss out or miss the show. And we're on a pretty good run right now with Team Steam this week. We've had 3 winning days this week so far, so we're looking to keep it going tonight. And we'll be Team Steam's heavy in action in the NFL this week, Tony. Mindy and I came to agreement on a lot of games, so we're hoping we're right. We're hoping, because the chat was in agreement with us on a lot of those games as well. So head on over to Tony'sPicks.com, pick up my packages there tonight if you can. And hey, you're going to be busy during the holidays. It's tough to handicap. You got family around, you're sitting in front of the TV, eating turkey dinner or whatever, and you just need that pick, you need that winner. Be in action all weekend long over the holiday weekend, so you can just grab your phone, log on. You don't have to let the family know what you're doing, and pick up some winners from me over there and make your bets on the apps and continue watching those games and entertaining the kids, the grandkids, the grandparents while you're sitting around watching your sports. Because I don't know, my family knows, Tony. I won't be at the table. I'll be in front of the TV, and you know what? After a few minutes, they're all joining me anyways. Nobody stays there at the table when you got a good NFL game, NBA game on, and they know I'm in action with it. So that's what we'll be doing here over the holiday weekend. That's what we do, is watch a lot of sports, play a lot of cards too, play a lot of old-fashioned games. Euchre, a lot of euchre in my family. We're from the upper Midwest. Wisconsin, where you get those euchre games. So looking forward to that over the holiday weekend here.
That's right, guys. Get on board here with Ramon Scott over at Tony's Picks. The college basketball 3-pack up here for Thursday's up right now, as well as a Thursday 3-pack here from the NHL. And of course, you can go longer term with Ramon. He does have that 3-7 or 3-day all sports pass. That 7-day pass will serve you well here. You get all of Ramon's premium plays here for 7 days, which include all his NFL. Right, we got a 4-day week this week. We got games on Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's all part of that 7-day pass. All the bowl action, your NBA, your NHL, that college hoops as well with that 7-day all sports pass. And of course, you can use the promo code TonyT at checkout, and you'll be able to save 20% off. And you can access Ramon's page by clicking the link in the description, clicking the All Cappers tab. Then you will land right here on Ramon's site. You can go ahead and get signed up. And by the way, you can also add a second capper if you want to add Mindy on that 2-for-1 capper. You can do that with a 2-for-1 capper promotion. We have a link to it right there on the site as well on Ramon's handicapper page. So you make the call, get on board with Ramon tonight with either his 1-day passes, which you see there in orange, which is profit guaranteed, must turn a profit, or the amount you purchase is credit back in your account for side credits. That's profit guaranteed. Or the longer term passes, which are not guaranteed because, again, we sell them at really lower prices there on these packages in yellow, the longer term passes. So go ahead and get signed up. All right, Ramon will also put together a Twitter account for you over at Tony's Picks Ramon with some more picks there. I hope to get those to blue soon, as Tony's Picks is now blue verified on our. We're gonna get everybody out at that point now. We get some videos uploaded as well, and of course the morning steam is finished for the holidays. Back on Monday.
Yeah, I got a pick right now on the social media platform at Tony's Picks Ramon. You can pick that one up in college basketball tonight, and that one's going to come to you in the game between Texas Southern and Wichita State. Doing pretty well on those social media picks right now. And Mindy and I'll be back on, what did she say? Monday. With more. Monday with, well, see, I don't even know what day it is.
Monday with Mindy.
Holidays, and we'll be back with more morning steam. But like I said, we already have a plethora of picks that we went through. We kind of crammed a bunch of games in there and want to spend time with our families. So we're thankful that you'll allow us to do that. I know the sports never stops. We know that. So you can pick up our picks for Saturday, for Sunday's card over there at Tony'sPicks.com. I want to stress that. That's really important because there's going to be all that action, and we're not going to be on the air on our normal days, but we do have picks locked and loaded for really the best games, the football games that everybody's going to be watching over those days. So we're back on Monday with the show, with our chatters. It's getting pretty hectic in there, pretty busy, and our new feature, passing along those latest steam moves as I monitor on over on the side, as I monitor the steam coming in from the major line service, and just report those pretty much virtually in real time, where I announce those moves, and you could probably get on them and still beat it by sometimes a half a point or a point, coming at it with you so fast that we're reporting that information in real time, so anybody watching their line screen, their apps, or anything like that sees that just not throwing darts and saying this game is moving the steam because our show is morning steam. This is actionable sports betting information in real time that I'm passing along. Anybody else can do it too. They can subscribe to these line services, but I do it for you, so you don't have to. So when you join the show, not only are we previewing a couple dozen games, sometimes 3 dozen games, but as we're rolling along, I just kind of interrupt the proceedings now a little bit and try to report the latest line moves so that you can get on it. It's not only about getting a good price or whatever, or just taking the steam, because you don't always want to take the steam. Sometimes you want to fade it too, especially if you like the other side. But what I am giving you a clue in is, if you like a game and I tell you this game's moving, you might want to get on your side if that's a favorite or a dog that's taking money right now, so you can get the best price. You always say that, Tony, get the best price. One of the most important things in sports betting sometimes isn't the wins or the losses, because we know when we bet on games, the lines are there for a reason, and often the winning margin is determined by the luck factor. So the key is getting the best price on your line, because how many times we see it, it lands 1-2 points on either side of the line. So I always say that a a lot of times your success in sports betting isn't necessarily, making the right pick. It's timing the market, getting it right, and you do that with hard work and determination, and making sure that you get the right price. Because we all get bad beats, we all know that. But how many times? I don't know how many times I've been called, a lucky sports better, and that's not what it is. It's just that I'm able to time the market correctly and be on the right side of the move, rather than getting beat by the hook. Happens to all of us, but I like when they make fun of me a little bit and say that I'm always lucky.
Nope, that happens. The skillful can get lucky. That's really how it works. All right, Ramon, check him out. Tony's Picks Ramon on the Twitter for more content there. And of course, the Morning Steam. Check the archives now for the shows. They'll be back Monday, but there's a lot of content up there. Covered a lot of NFL coverage there, bowl coverage. Check it out. Do a search, team versus team, Morning Steam, and you'll be able to find the pick you're looking for, or just listen to full shows in their entirety. Don't forget, we do have the podcast there as well to listen on your drive home or drive to somewhere. All right, Ramon, have yourself a great evening. We'll talk with you again tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, brother.
You got Ramon Scott here.